Yo, 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 yo! What's up, all you burners, stoners, and potheads out there? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman?
Mr. Weedman?
How the hell are you?
I'm going to be amazing in about 2 minutes after I smoke. Right now, I'm all right.
You all right?
I'm all right.
All righty, then. We're going to get going with the show. This is our 420 Smoke Sesh special and with the fam. We have two special guests here, and I'm going to introduce them to you. Mr. G.
Hello, hello.
How you been, brother?
I'm doing
It's been a year. It's been a year.
It's been a year
Since you've been on the show.
Yes, indeed.
I know.
It's been a long year too.
And we have a special friend that I've met about a year ago.
Yeah.
The Metro Blac.
How y'all doing? Thanks for
Metro.
having me, Mr. and Mrs. Weed, man.
So
Yeah.
excited, so excited. So we're going to smoke here in a minute, but first and foremost, we ask all the newbies on the show the same question. Metro, this one's for you. You smoke weed because?
I get it honest. My mother and my father are master bakers, but they're both stoners. They are no longer together, but I can only imagine the conversations they were having as they were baking. Before conception.
So it's in your blood, baby. In your blood.
baking.
It's in my blood, literally.
Well, that's what I said about my dad too. My dad sold weed. Mm-hmm. The sperm had THC going through it, baby.
Had to.
And I came out Weedman 420.
That's great. I actually just got a chance to meet my father for the first time this year.
Sweet.
And he is a dealer by trade as well.
Ugh.
Wow.
Yes.
It's in your blood.
It's in my blood, literally.
Awesome.
I know Mrs. Weedman is ready to smoke.
I am.
How ready are you?
I'm really ready.
All right, we're all going to smoke a strain in honor of 420, a Jack Herrera strain that a friend of mine gave me, Mr. Bentley of Arise. It is called Jack Herrera. We've smoked this on the show before, but I'm throwing a shout out to him because he gave us the weed, and we're smoking it out of a Spleef Society wrap. It is a chocolate wrap, and I'm super stoked to try. Briggs, thank you from Spleef Society. Mr. B, Mr. Bentley, thank you for the weed for this show. We appreciate you. So we're going to smoke, and then we're going to talk a little bit. Mrs. Weedman needs it. She had a rough day today. Computer broke down, trying to get our website going. As all you know, 8decades.com is starting up, and Mrs. Weedman had a rough one, so I knew she couldn't wait to smoke this strain today.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. I'll start with Metro. What's your favorite way to smoke? And I've smoked with you.
Yeah.
I know you love a good joint.
I love a good joint, man. But I will say I've evolved a bit. I need a little concentrate in there every once in a while just to take me over the top, you know? Mm-hmm. Definitely a joint guy, though.
Mr. G, what do you like smoking out of?
I'm been on the bong lately at home. Nothing too big, just a little 1-footer. Yeah, I like a little water involved, I think.
You put ice in it?
Sometimes.
Now let me ask you the other question.
Yes, sir.
Do you clean your bong often?
Often.
Hell yeah!
Quite often.
Hell yeah!
I would say new water every day.
That a boy.
And a nice little alcohol soak probably every week.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. We just did an episode where we talked about how to clean your bong, and Mrs. Weedman did it, and she did a great job. We also did one last episode. We talked about how to clean your grinder. I have never cleaned my grinder before in my life, and I've had many. And this one I just put off to the side. I've had for 3 years, and I've never cleaned it. And Mrs. Weedman in the last episode talked about cleaning your grinder, which was pretty interesting. Because do you guys clean your grinder too at all, ever?
I don't.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
listened
Yes.
to that
You do?
episode.
Yes.
You listen to it?
I did.
Oh, I move. I retire them. I retire them. I
Yeah?
just sit them up there and like, if somebody wants to, hey, you can take it, man. Because you know, after a while you're turning and it's like,
Yep.
It's like sticky and creamy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that resin gets gunky on there. So
but you got to try to save what you can from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
Oh,
good.
Yeah, save
Oh,
that
I
keef,
use-
yo.
Yes.
Save that keef.
I use like a little kid's paintbrush, and that gets all the stuff out of like the screw threads and all that.
That's
That's
smart.
about as far as I go, and that gets you like the juicy keef that you miss. That
The
gets
good stuff.
grounded in
There we
all the
go.
other stuff.
There we go.
Yeah.
What is one of your favorite strains you smoked lately? Probably in the last year. We've been since weed and cannabis has become legal in Illinois. The strains have become. You've been able to pick and choose a lot, right? And be able to get some from your buddies that home grow, or maybe some buddies that bring it from a different state that home grow. But the strains that today, compared to when we were younger, where you just got what your dealer gave you, your plug gave you, you know, it is what it was, and that's what you got. Now, What is your favorite strain, Metro? Like, what is the one you've been smoking?
Friendly market or corporate market?
Let's talk about the friendly market.
Okay, I recently had something from a brand called G Baby Premiums, and it's called Magic, but it's in a blue bag like Orlando Magic, so I'm assuming they mean it's blue magic, but it was very beautiful. It was pungent, and it was a very good 50-50 hybrid. You got great body, you got great head, but I could still create on it, like, so.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Mr. G.
Been digging on the legal market. I've been digging I've been digging a lot of stuff that Revolution's been coming up with.
I tried some of the Florida Orange. That shit was dope.
Shit's really
Shit fucked
good.
me up.
Oh, that was
That was
Yes,
good.
That was really good.
That was really good.
And the Gorilla Cheese was a popular.
Don't like cheese
selection.
strains. Goes right to my head. Don't
Yeah.
like them.
That's what
I like
about
Gorilla
it.
Cheese.
Yeah. I just don't smoke cheese strains. They just go right to my head. I can't do it. Can't do it.
You know what
Lately, that new Florcal, I grabbed a cart of that. Just
Oh,
hit
that
town.
Candy Rain is nice.
I've not tried it yet.
Lotto is-
Blue Lotto. and
So
what
that's
is
the
that?
indica. Candy Rain is the sativa.
It's
Yeah.
delicious. It's rosin, which there's not a ton of that in Illinois. So
None.
it's kind of fun.
No.
I think that's going to be a big word here soon.
Yes, definitely.
And that's doing it.
The Blue Lotto flower is good too. I tried
That's what I
it.
heard. That's what I
Yeah.
heard.
I love
It's
Jenny Kush too.
Delicious.
I love Jenny Kush.
The cart itself is delicious. One of the best tasting carts I've ever had. Super heady, super stony.
They need
I
to pay
brought
you.
a little if anybody
They need,
wants
to,
it.
they need to pay you.
They could.
You just fucking plug the hell out of that.
And on the
Yeah, you sold me.
well, I brought some, so we'll see if I can. Yeah, you might be maybe after the show. I think you might be a little quiet.
This is it's a little bit of candy.
On the traditional market too, Mr. Weedman, your Majin Fajita has quickly made its way into like my favorite sativa of late for sure.
Love it.
Sativas often can get I get a little grumpy, I can get a little anxious and sped up. Then that one does not do it. And I'm proud to say I have a little baby fledgling Vegeta at home.
Found a seed.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
found it.
Seed.
The
That's
one and
awesome.
only seed out of
Sweet.
everything I've pulled buds out. He got the one, which I'm
That's
happy
pretty
about.
cool.
You growing Super Saiyan flower, huh?
Yeah. So we haven't had a gender reveal. It's still it's a little guy. But
Hopefully, it's a female.
we'll see. Yeah.
You put that thing outside. I had a couple outside. You saw how big those things grew last summer. They were both males, but I got pollen out of it. But they grew pretty big. So I know you're gonna put that thing outside, so it'll be nice.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah?
I might invest.
Nice.
Do the old indoor.
Love it.
We'll see.
Love it. The one strain that got away, Metro.
Strawberry cough.
Well, I have something in the tent right now called
Stop playing with me.
Called Strawberry Kush Breath.
Okay.
That comes from strawberry cough.
I got the daughter.
It's in the tent.
Hey.
In the tent. You'll have to try it and see what you think. Mr. G, the one that got away.
Gorilla Punch.
Smoke that. Very
Yeah,
good.
It was my first strain with a med card. So I even took like a little tea break before that just to be like, I'm going to go get like the best strain I could get my first time at a dispensary. So I was like fresh, probably a 2-week break and smoking and smoke some of that shit. And
That's awesome.
You were
it's like,
out of your
this is
tree.
what it's all about. Like 100%. I think I did yoga immediately. After the yoga time.
Downward dog.
Yeah.
I love a good downward dog.
Dude.
Especially when Mrs. Weeman does one.
All
It makes it
right.
better.
What a guy.
Hold for Evan and
Yeah.
2,
Good one.
3.
I can't see so good.
Already?
Yeah,
Should just started. We got
really.
long. We still got about another
I don't know.
45, 50
you
minutes
guys like
to go.
double dosed what I think
Oh,
I
they-
took 3 hits. You guys definitely double
Well,
dosed.
they're professionals.
where is
It's
it?
been a long day for everybody.
It's yeah. I know they're professionals. I got to get to that level.
Well, we'll get to this level.
All right.
Let me ask Mr. G first, because Metro's about to blaze this up. Right, relight that one up. How has cannabis helped your music career? We all know. Mr. G's been on the show before. I have had Mr. G play at a bunch of my parties over the last years. He has a band. Can I tell him the funny name or should I tell him the real name first?
Hey, how drunk are you right now? Are
I'm
you
not
drunk?
at all. So we'll just say
It's
the real.
funnier the drunker you
Yeah,
are.
it is. So we'll just say the real name is Grit and the Double Knit.
Correct.
finally, and after all these years, I got it right. I had a running joke where he had to write it down in front of me so I would remember it, and I still said it wrong.
There was context. It was always on a very special occasion that Mr. Weedman enjoyed himself.
Oh, a little too much.
A lot.
Yes.
A lot before he got on that microphone.
Oh, the skunk buzzes will always reign king, baby. There will be never another skunk buzz like it. But anyway, how has your music and cannabis play together? How has it helped your career?
So, I think it all, and it's funny because it's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, and I'm pulling a lot of beliefs out of the drawer and sort of dusting them off and seeing where they fit. I think you got to do that every once in a while, and it all comes down to ritual for me. And where I lose course on things, it's when I've kind of forgotten ritual. If I'm just mindlessly smoking throughout the day, then it doesn't have that. So
That impact.
just a quick shift into, like, that's what we used to do when we were stoner kids. It was ritual, you know. Music's a ritual too, and I've been getting into the idea, like, lately, that everything's a ritual. Like, if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is look at your phone and go, fuck, that's your ritual. That's
Every
your wake
morning,
up ritual,
right?
You know what I mean? So yeah, just sort of taking a step back. I probably need another. I would say a tolerance break would help too, but really looking at, like, how cannabis affects my headspace while either in the creation or the performance process, and really being in the present with mindfulness with that. That sounds vague, but it's too easy to get lost in thought and be on stage and with the type of music I play. Not when I'm singing, but if I'm just being a musician, I'm just being a guitar player, I can be somewhere else.
Who's the other bands you play with too? You play in a few, not just your own. You headline in, but you have a few other bands you play in too.
Yeah, the right now the active one is the Lawrence Peters outfit. That's like a fairly popular honky tonk, old school country honky tonk group. So think like Hank Williams Sr., old Johnny Cash, Tennessee 2 stuff. George Jones, you know, that type of thing. And with those gigs, if I'm just being a musician, I can float off. I could be at Arby's for half the set. Just like, what am I gonna eat when I get out of here? What's gonna be open? Like, you can
do
just
that.
melt. 100%.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to get back at it. So then somebody brought this up to me in a totally different context, but it was just this idea that, like, she was, like, fascinated that musicians perform for audiences and also themselves. Like, you have an inner monologue. And
Definitely.
how much are you devoting to each? How much are you listening to each? How much energy exchange do you have with each? And cannabis can really put you into a present state where you are paying attention to that shit and getting returns from it. You can also go totally negative with it and just be like, this crowd's not listening. I keep fucking up. Like,
You can send them the vibe if you do it right.
indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see what might come from, like, consumption lounges, because music and booze are what goes hand in hand now, because booze is legal to sell to people that are at a concert, where we don't have that yet certainly in Illinois, and I don't know that anywhere in the country really does that anywhere indoor. I mean, obviously, you go to a concert, you're going to smell weed, you're going to probably get a contact high. What I'm saying is, like, starting to see spaces that are
Built for it.
sanctioned
Yep.
consumption lounges.
Yeah.
What are those crowds going to be like? That's going to start to be
Our
It's
kind
gonna
of
be-
crowd, I
it's gonna
hope.
be freaking amazing.
Right.
It's going to be a new thing, and people are going to shut the fuck up. It's
Yeah.
going to be awesome. All you're going to hear is just like,
Can we say what we tried
Yes.
to wait? Can we say what we tried to do in Evergreen Park? We might as well say it.
Yeah.
Where we live at, we went to the mayor and asked the mayor if we can do a
consumption
consumption lounge
lounge.
here, and we got denied.
You got to just
Was it a
not-
harsh denial?
No,
or,
it was
you know?
not
harsh
at this
denial.
time.
Not at
Okay.
this time.
They're learning to embrace it.
They
Okay.
have two
They
licenses.
Got They
Okay.
approved two licenses.
She didn't say it wasn't
He
a
said,
hard
"Who?"
no.
What a guy.
It was maybe
It
later.
was like,
Okay.
yeah,
Kind
just
of
not
a-
right now.
right.
We'll revisit.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
There's progress in that type of
Yeah,
discussion,
right?
though.
Yeah,
You know.
a little
Yeah.
progress. New
Yeah,
mayor. I gotta give it up
definitely.
for her. She didn't say.
So
What do
we're
you
going to
got in
invite her
mind?
to our party and get her high.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
talk about it again.
Yeah.
Definitely. Don't say that. She's not gonna want anybody to know. Don't tell.
Blackmail.
So go ahead. Sorry, Mr. G.
Sorry.
No, and that's it. That's it. I think remembering the ritual. Another thing that comes to mind, just like the first time I remember the best high, like when you're, I was pretty young when I started smoking, but like 14, 15 years old. I remember like that combination of when the sky, you get that full moon where the clouds are like ringed and you're just like, it's like stoner shit. And all I was doing, I had a guitar, acoustic guitar, and I had my ear pressed all the way up to the wood, and I was just going like, and just like
So quiet.
really spacing out. Like it was like shaking my whole head. The sky was awesome, and I was like, yeah, dude, that's what's up. That's the dragon I've been chasing probably this whole time. So I appreciate the industry for accommodating all these new forms that I can try
To get there.
Yeah.
Say that.
Metro. Same question. How has cannabis helped with your music? And you're a newer smoker. I mean, you told me when we talked.
It's just been. I'm going into a decade. You
Right.
know? Yeah.
Well, that's not that new.
Yeah.
It is new.
That's some experience.
Yeah, I got experience,
He's got
but I got it
experience.
fast. You know, like I got it fast.
Mr. G
You know
and
what I'm
Mr.
saying?
G I've been smoking since I was 13.
Right.
He started smoking when he was 14.
I'm with you. I'm
Yeah,
at like 10.
yeah. I was.
Yeah, she's a decade in.
Yeah.
So, but she learned quick too.
Yeah.
Right.
She had to smoke. She didn't live off regs like we kind of did and shit dirt weed. And when you only can get that at one point, you got classy weed and good fucking strains right off the bat. So you don't know what we had to
I don't
deal
know the
with and what.
garbage.
Actually, I was lived in Florida,
Well,
so I
you
at least
do, 'cause,
got
like, when
a
you're a
little bit better weed
teenager,
than
you
you got,
smoke.
Mr. G. At the
well,
time.
listen, I'm not gonna lie. Like I've like.
You're spoiled too.
No, listen. I was just gonna say that, like, weed with music. So put it like this: when I got into cannabis, like my plug was the plug. Like I was like, how did I get this? Like off bat, like people like, where are you getting this? I'm like, yo, it just came to me. And music was the same way. Like I was working in insurance, selling insurance. I never thought I'd be in music at all. Like I was just looking to insure movies.
Mrs. Weedman never thought she would do a podcast about weed either, but it was in my
say
dream.
that. So, and look at us now.
Right.
And look at us now. We got neon logo lights and shit. This is lit, you know. And you bought in and y'all doing it together. That's what's dope, man. It's super dope. But like I went in a studio to insure the studio. I was like, oh, this feels like I should be in here, and it smells like, oh, you mind if I burn one before I go? He's like, yeah, go ahead. Then next thing I know, I'm talking to this guy about my buddy who makes beats, and he's like, man, I got enough producers. I need songwriters. And I was like, oh, I can write a song. And I went home, wrote a song to one of my buddy's beats, and his artist liked it, and they ended up keeping me on the reference. And then like I ended up getting a key to that studio, and that was my blowback spot. But what I was doing was learning my voice on the mic while nobody else was around, seeing what I could do, like learning how to say certain words, coming in hot, not coming in hot. And I would say the fact that I had cannabis that day is probably one of the reasons I got into music. 1, 2. So shout out to me coming in on things at a high level all the time. You know what I'm saying?
It worked for you.
It worked. It always came together and worked. But yeah, cannabis definitely got me into music, and it keeps me sane from traffic because I am always moving.
So how long have you been doing music?
This is year 3 going into year 4. So I'm going into year 4.
And you just released a new album.
So I released a project a year ago in the summer, but I just released a new single and I got an album coming. We haven't selected a release date just yet. We're filming some music videos for what's out and for our next single, and then we'll decide on a release date.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Do both of you, Mr. G, do you use cannabis to help write songs?
Not necessarily.
You don't need it all the time?
No. No, I don't know if that affects. I mean, I'm sure, as I believe your topic was last week, set and setting, I think plays major.
That was right up your alley, too.
Yeah.
The set and setting. I knew it is, because you're about meditation and weed, too. And all
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a while. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, songs come. I don't have a process, or I have an evolving process. It's always changing. So there's not a particular.
Do you artist to artist? Do you chart your process? Like, are you like watching how you're moving and like moods and what's happening in the days when you feel like I thought it was only me.
No, not yet. That's a project.
Okay.
Is to start paying more attention.
Okay.
Why is lightning striking? Right.
Right.
Which I don't know if that's.
I'm learning my rev up points. I'm sorry. That's why I asked.
Sure. No, that's what's up. And that's huge. And I think there's a ton that can go into that. And I think those are all little unlocks in the game, you know? Like, a lot of stuff goes into that. And cannabis is one of them. I'd say that for sure.
Ashe.
Metro,
Yes.
you?
That's super cool.
Do you need it to write, or can you do on
No.
off with it? Without it? Or do you get more inspired using it?
I will say that there's this moment when I'm in the stew with my producer, and like I feel it in, like, when I'm writing or I'm in the booth, it's just going and flowing. I don't feel cannabis. I could have smoked the eighth by myself. I don't feel cannabis when I get to that point.
Right.
And that's what you were saying earlier.
mindset.
It's like you're connected, and maybe it helps connect. You know, maybe the cannabinoids help the connection. I'm never gonna slight it, but I think the high and adrenaline from like it feeling right is outweighs the THC and the terpenes.
Sweet.
I found though that there's certain strains where I'm creative, not musically. I couldn't read music if I had to. I like music a lot, but when I get creative, it's usually drawing something or coming up with an idea of creating something physical. And if I'm high, I feel like when I get into that mode, like the thoughts evolve more fluidly, but they almost evolve too fast, and I can't get them to paper before they've passed, and then I can't backtrack to them because it's just like like hyper speed creativity. So maybe I have to channel that in.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah.
there was a time when you were creating the business,
Yeah.
the website, all of the clothing line, the tray, everything. That there was times where you didn't use it, but there was times where you said you wanted it,
Yeah.
and you took it and you were zooming, you were getting shit done.
And I'm a
fast.
nighttime creative person. I get more, like, I don't know. I think because there's not as many interruptions, you don't expect interruptions. I can dial
It's
in
your
like 10
time.
o'clock,
It's
10:30
your time.
at night.
Yeah.
If something comes up, I could stay up and it would be 4 a.m. and I wouldn't know it's 4 a.m. because you just get in that mode.
That's
and
when
it's just smooth.
That hour
Yeah.
in bed when we shut everything off is my most creative time because there's,
I know, right?
but there's no
Yeah.
but there's no
You don't-
interruptions.
yeah.
Right.
But
It
you
is
don't
the most
remember anything in the
peaceful-
morning.
No, if there's something really good, I remember.
note.
I remember about 67% of that. But if there's something really good, I text it to myself, and then I wake up. I'm like, that's why.
My alarm
But that's
goes-
my hour. That hour, like I shut down. We shut the TV off at midnight. But that midnight to 1 is like to
Thinking.
me the point where I can clear. There's nothing in my mind but me. I can't really do that during the day. I have too much going on.
Yeah.
Say that. Say
About
that.
weed or no weed. There's so
I'm an early riser. That's how I get around. I wake up at 4:44. That's my up until like yes, every day my alarm goes off at 4:44.
So that's your quiet time.
Yep,
When you do
that's my
school,
me
yeah.
time up
Yeah.
until like that like maybe 5:30 alarm. It's time to like actually go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
sweet.
What's funny, nothing funny. What's kind of cool about that is that is a very meditative. The nighttime, I know. I don't know shit about the morning because I don't.
Man,
I do know that if I get up early on purpose and like have purpose to it, I do have a good day following. Like I will have a boost to my day following. Right? If I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, fucking,
Yeah.
you know, I just don't do that. I stay up. I just do. That particular meditative time is, besides all that, I don't know, like you can get into some type like little woo type
Well,
stuff.
I'm in the
you know,
most-
me and you get into the woo when we speak outside the
I always get
podcast.
into the Wu-Tang, man.
the woo,
Come on.
yeah. No, the woo, the like
I know the
your
woo-woo.
crystals and your planets and all
Yeah.
that. Well, they say if you were to believe in such a thing as manifesting, they say that time
Ashe.
as you fall asleep is
Ashe.
when the gate is open.
Yeah, that to me is
They
the
say
most.
that with,
But here's the whole thing.
When
That
kids
is
are little, that's like that. Those minutes before they fall asleep are the most memorable. Like their brain is so like balanced at that time.
Well,
For
see,
that
depends
reason,
on what you're
I have
talking
not had a television in my room since college.
That's our quiet time. That's
Yeah.
our
Yeah, I don't
quiet
want a
time.
TV in my room.
Yeah.
Like I want
doesn't-
straight.
yeah.
I
We
want
watch-
my thoughts to reign.
Well, we watch
supreme
our
here,
one show
you know?
together. That's our hangout time, and then we shut it off, and then all of a sudden, the edible had just fully kicked in, and we're both got done with our basement talk session down here for about an hour. So now my mind is really going because I'm baked, and the edible just kicked in when I shut the TV off, and my mind is now zooming of thoughts of like, how can I change the world?
Right,
It's the
100%.
perfect point right there.
You think you can
The show,
sometimes.
the show. But I think about,
Right?
I think about
Yeah.
I think about the show constantly. Like, what can I have done better? What's the next topic we can do? What can I make me and Mrs. Weedman flow better? What do I? It's always about the show.
It's fire.
And what comes
You
with
know, like when Mrs. Weedman was saying that, like sometimes when you do your ritual before when you're creating that thoughts and they come too fast, what's helped me when I see them coming fast is I sit back on them and just let the whole picture paint. I'm like,
Like really let them be.
yeah, just let it be, and then go and get into your focused mind. You know,
Instead of trying to keep
Ta-
up with
yeah.
It almost becomes for me an exercise in listening more than it is creating. Because
Yep.
you all of a sudden
Listening
like,
to
you just go,
yourself,
"Oh,
yep.
shit, it's happening, and you're like,
Do you like using?
Hey,
Do you
it's
like
hard to
using?
do.
Do you like using cannabis during the show or before and after? Like, what is your ritual then?
I will not smoke within 4 hours of a show. I don't think Cottonmouth is cute, and I spit kind of fast sometimes. So you got to be able to hear what I'm saying. So like I'll wake and bake on the day of a show, but I'm not gonna burn until after I perform.
Would you eat an edible?
Yeah, cause I'm gonna be I'm like moving around, sweating. I probably yeah, and that's only cause my adrenaline's moving crazy, like you know.
Bring the hype.
I get high as fuck for it.
But hey, and everybody says, "How you smoke all day and you don't smoke before?" I'm like, bro, when I'm going to perform, I want you to feel it. Like,
Honestly, it depends.
Yeah.
If I'm singing my own material, if I'm singing in front of a crowd that's going to be paying attention and strangers, it is doubtful. If I'm just playing guitar, usually I can get away with it. But if it's like a gig where you're open for somebody big and you're playing in front of a few hundred people, fuck, no, I can't.
Do you want to?
Probably. I played.
Now, so here. Don't smoke before you start, but look at the crowd, and you're already now you're comfortable. They know you, and like 3 songs in, that's when you light up.
Okay, let's go there. Sure.
I could do that. I'm not gonna lie. I could take a couple. Let me get a mama. Yeah, couple
I feel
puffs.
like the theatrics of doing that would switch off the discomfort. I almost feel like everybody saw that, right? That's the ballsiest thing I just did. So
Right.
I'd be proud of
True.
you.
We're all good.
True.
I'd be proud of you if you did.
do it. Let's see what happens Sunday.
Oh, the launch party. So do you think, I mean, hip hop to me is all about, I mean, they made cannabis mainstream. So does music and cannabis go hand in hand?
Of course.
In hip hop.
Of course it does. I think it does in the world in general. I feel like music and cannabis go hand in hand, as well as just cannabinoids, terpenes, anything that can make a person who's already in tune with feel, you know?
I don't like going to a show not being stoned because you can't feel it as much.
It
When you're
elevates
Yeah,
the
everything
show.
gets heightened. You can hear certain sounds you might not be able to hear if you're just drunk or if you're
Facts.
just going in plain. For me, anyway.
I enjoy it.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. I gave you a fucking triple banger and you fucking got whacked at the last show you had. Like,
I went to Halloween and I went catatonic out in the, yeah.
I gave him an oil filled an oil
Goofy-ass
keef.
Oklahoma.
Oh,
drink. It's funny. There's a
It's
country
goofy as
song.
fuck.
There's a kind of famous like frat boy country song called the refrain goes, "Them boys from Oklahoma roll their joints all wrong." And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, they do. I know for a fact.
They put like 9 moon rocks and fucking roll it in butter and crystals and.
That's why I gave you. I
Did
smoked-
it even light? Like, was it like
Oh,
running?
yeah, like 'cause I smoked a few of them they gave me. I'm like, all right, I had enough. I can't smoke any more of these. I smoked 3 of them. They gave me like 10. I brought home 10 the 2 trips I went there. and I can't smoke them anymore. So I gave them out to people. I gave him 2 of them. One you went on vacation with, and one you smoked at a show. And you text me both, dude. I'm fucking whack.
Right.
I have no leg.
They had it all in there, huh?
Yeah.
So I gave them away. I'm like, I'm enough of those. Those things put you out. You know, like those are at home fucking J's. Like when you're in your basement, don't want to do shit.
Oh, that sounds like
But again, you know,
some
that's-
shit
I
I
mean,
want
right
right now. Yeah.
Right there, that explains the connection between music and cannabis, or even just music and altered consciousness, right? You don't do that at a fucking Bulls game.
No.
Maybe you did before, but
Yeah.
you're just,
Right.
you know, you're not like, oh, this is my favorite. The third quarter is my favorite. This is when I fucking like the joint. At a show,
Oh, my
you're
dude's
like-
coming on.
Yeah, you know your rhythm.
Smack. Let's go. Right.
I mean, no matter, I feel like you could go to a Neil Diamond concert, you could smell weed somewhere. Like,
You went to a
Man.
Neil
I
Diamond
did.
concert. Did you smell weed?
I
was a
just
long time ago.
Couldn't figure out why I was there.
I bet everyone around her.
How? She was.
Why?
You were how? Why?
When is this over?
Bad concerts are fun. I fucking hate Neil Diamond.
It was
but
pretty
I would-
painful.
that'd be rough. I went to see Mariah Carey once, and I was the only. It was me and 2 other dudes, and we were the only.
Me and 2 other dudes
3 guys went together.
went to Mariah Carey.
No
Yeah.
wives
Oh
or
my God,
girlfriends.
dude.
No wives or girlfriends. Just
No,
3
not
guys.
at all. No,
Oh, I
not
love
at
it.
all. This was
Everybody was like, "What are those dudes
in
here?"
our 20s. My buddy scored tickets. It was one of those things where like work.
What's
got
the
'em, and they were like,
backstory?
Who wants these? He was like, I want them. And so it was 3 dudes at Mariah Carey. We were definitely the only of our demographic of like 25-year-old single, not there with our moms or girlfriends or daughters. Like
my
it
God.
was a rad scene. Because we got hammered. They still had booze, so we got
course.
just real drunk and kept trying to get backstage and shit. And security was like, "You got, nah, you can't." But
I was like, "Where are your dates?"
we want to meet her. Come on. But even there, like tons of weed. You wouldn't
Really?
expect it. Tons. Yeah.
Sweet.
It's music and weed are simpatico, I believe.
There you go. Here's something. So we're gonna get on with the show. You ready, Mrs. Weedman?
think
and these
so.
guys are gonna join in.
Okay.
We're gonna go some articles, some heavy
I have to
duty.
read.
I'll read first.
Okay.
All right. Sound good?
All
Give you a
right.
minute to catch
Yep,
up.
Yep. I'm good.
So, will stoner culture survive in 2022 and beyond? I've saved this article. I've had it since December of 2021, and I've read it often because I wanted to see if I wanted to read it then, but if not, save it for 420 because 420 means the world to me. So, this is a great article. And posted by Reginald Reefer on Friday, December 31st of 2021. As we're ending 2021 and entering into a 3rd year of the pandemic, the trend of global cannabis legalization is only gaining traction. While I may have mispredicted that cannabis was going to be legalized in North America during 2021, the truth of the matter is that probably going to happen sometime maybe, now we're in 2022, and they already failed. So, who knows? Congress in the U.S. said they'll be taking up the matter in spring of 2022. Well, Congress passed the MORE Act, but the Senate, with Schumer, bailed on his act. So who knows when it's going to happen. They're going to pick this back up in the summer. Further down the road, the Mexican Senate is also going to take a vote for the first quarter of the year. With all the changes happening on a legal level, one can only wonder what will happen to the culture that helped impulse a movement of cannabis legalization. Talking about stoner culture that currently still exists but might fade away in the near future, perhaps it might not in its entirety, but it may evolve into something completely different. The dawn of stoner culture. The stoner culture is the counterculture. The counterculture was birthed out of the opposition of the drug prohibition and only really took off during the 60s and 70s. Original stoners was the reference of booze hounds, but during the 1960s and 70s, when cannabis became the drug of choice for the counterculture, the term was translated to this subculture. These people were typically seen as outsiders, slackers, and essentially the non-desirables of the time. The ostracization of the demographic was intended to make those who partake feel like secondhand citizens and was designed to appeal to the patriotic ideals of the masses. The normalization of the counterculture In the late 90s, cannabis became legalized for medical purposes in places like California. This happened because the underground culture that the gay rights movement, which are suffering the heaviest blow from the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Hence, we talked about who? Mrs. Weedman? Brownie Mary.
We talk about her a lot.
Talk about her a lot. Therefore, the counterculture was largely seen as a non-threat to the establishment, naturally aligned with the objectives of the gay rights movement, and as a result, medical cannabis became avenue for legalization. When the man became stoner. Since 2012, we have seen corporatization enter the cannabis field, then warp what cannabis is. At some point since then, even the word marijuana was seen as potentially offensive. Corporatism is wokeism, which appeals to the widest demographics. This means their ultimate objective is to be an ally to the majority, and thus a stoner no longer fits the bill. To me, that like hit home right there when I read that. That'll give me a good punch in the nose. Mm-hmm. So this person's been reporting on cannabis for over 10 years now, and have seen the evolution of the cannabis industry. While strains, names, and stores still have the stoner feel, to the truth of the matter is that stonerism is far removed from the modern cannabis. With people like Justin Bieber jumping into the game and high-end weed becoming the main product that industry pushes, cannabis no longer reflects what it was pre-1997. The cannabis user today is the poser, or the narc of yesterday. That was big. This fucking writer threw some deep. This is why I've saved this. Save this fucking article for 420 because it means so much to me.
That writer seems a little.
Dude, love it.
He's poignant.
Oh, love it. So,
Narcs.
Right.
In a minute.
The narcs of yesterday.
Which brings us to the question: will stoner culture survive the death of the stoner? Corporatism aims to sell a product to the masses, and freedom-loving stoners might not fit the bill. While the subculture still exists, it is no longer seen as a shadow activity. It is no longer revolutionary. Within the realm of the modern cannabis, the stoner is a dying breed. But will stoner ever go away? I don't think so. At least not while I'm still alive and writing to the masses. The stoner is simply evolving and still remains very countercultural. It's the stoners of the world that still distrust the government. I'm fucking one of them. It's the stoners of the world resist government overreach, mainly because throughout the entire lives, they were willing to sacrifice their freedom for the right of everyone to fucking smoke.
Holy
Stoners are
cow.
Revolutionaries. And while many modern cannabis consumers don't reflect the ethos of the stoner, the spirit of the stoner will always remain strong, you burners, stoners, and potheads of the world. In fact, we need to give thanks to the millions of stoners that paved the way to what cannabis industry is today. Read up a little bit. Ask some questions. Will the OG stoners please speak up? Are you a stoner? Are you a burner? Are you a pothead? Please speak up.
Whoa, preach it.
I've saved that fucking article, man. I wanted to read this article so many fucking times.
Read it again.
Will be posted as one of the on our
It's
references.
all of the above an option. Mm-hmm. Stoner, burner, pothead, all of the above.
Yeah, man, there's always going to be a binary to it where there's something to fight against.
Yeah. Of course.
In the parlance of our writer, we know the industry's run by posers and narcs for sure. Like, as you get into the top end elements of it.
Write a song. Stoner culture can survive. Stoner culture can survive. It's been in my head. This is what I think about late at night. Stoner culture can survive. Mr. G and Metro writing a song about that.
We can.
Yeah, I'll run it through the.
You can put it. I know you can do it.
Probably not like that, but like
No.
definitely, yeah. you get a writing credit. We definitely give you writing credits. You know,
I don't get paid. I don't get paid.
You
to
get
write
writing
songs.
credits.
On the wiki.
Yeah, definitely.
But seriously, that fucking hit home to me. That article fucking hit me hard.
You know, I don't say this. I agree. Like you said, there's always there. Like Mr. G said, there's always a binary. You know, like there's always going to be something. Right now, yes, it is becoming legal, but now we have to fight to be free with it being legal, because there's still a negative connotations on smelling like cannabis when you walk in somewhere, whether you're a medical patient or not, or there's still the verbiage that cannabis is a drug, you know. So like we are fighting still. You
What's
know?
our line?
Stomp the stigmas.
Indeed.
Stomp the stigmas.
Yeah, and that's there. As long as there's a stigma, and there will be for a while. Maybe revisiting this conversation in 10 years, it might be different. It will be different. I mean, it can't not be. It'll change in some way, but there'll always be something to rebel against and to.
You know, your kids will never know weed was never in the traditional market, or you couldn't just go to the fucking store and buy it.
Probably not. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Crazy.
That's fucking amazing.
That's
to see
crazy.
that.
They'll never know.
But they'll
That's
never
crazy.
truly know
I don't have
stoner
kids, so
culture.
they won't know
Right.
about it.
They
I'll
won't
be
even
telling
know
those
it's illegal.
stories.
I'll be like, what? You couldn't have weed?
Yeah,
You can
they
just go
won't
to the
know
store and buy
And
it.
it used to always have seeds in it.
dry spells when
Yeah.
one drug bust could take 2 weeks worth of weed off the street, and you just had a miserable neighborhood. People trying to figure, I remember
Yeah.
that when you just had a couple hookups, and it turns out they all got.
I all got the
same-
stuff right. Y'all got the same plug, man.
Well, we got a second part of this article that was by Tom Backus, and this was all about like Steve D'Angelo sounds off on the hippie culture. We are not the Cheech and Chong stoners. Where does hippie culture fit in Cannabis 2.0? Which I thought was a really good article. And Mrs. Weeman's going to talk a little bit about that.
Yep. So this is about where hippie culture fits into Cannabis 2.0. Again, from Steve D'Angelo. He sounds off on this. Supporters will praise Tommy Chong and all the work he has done throughout his life for cannabis advocacy out of one side of their mouth. And an hour later, they'll say they're not at all like Cheech and Chong stoner stereotypes. They'll say they have jobs, they work out, they're good parents, and contributing members of society. So how does Tommy feel that the new Cannabis 2.0 culture is denying their relationship to his Cheech and Chong characters as they push harder and harder for federal legalization? I'm working off an iPad tonight and I'm struggling. I got to ask Steve D'Angelo about his theory. He had just given, oh my gosh, a keynote talk at CanX Jamaica about how the world needs the hippie culture of peace and love more than ever right now. As if I was asking if hippie culture itself had to be killed off in order to get federal legalization. Steve is a very emotional guy and believes passionately about the cannabis plant and has done the time to prove it, no pun intended. While the answer became more emotional about hippie culture in general, the original question was just around what he thought about Tommy Chong and how federal legalization might not happen with the Republican-led Senate until we bury the Cheech and Chong stereotype. Either way, it's a wonderful and emotional answer by Steve D'Angelo about where hippie culture fits in with the current Cannabis 2.0.
And this article is from back in 2019. So
Yeah.
this is when the Republicans were still in led the House and Congress and shit. But this was a powerful article too.
So where the culture fits into the 2.0 rhetoric of we aren't like that, right? Nobody wants to be, I'm not a stoner. So this is coming from Steve D'Angelo. Here's the thing. Anyone can grow cannabis anywhere in the world. But what we had in the counterculture and what the Rastafarians have here in Jamaica is a culture that has sat with this plant. They've taken it seriously. They've learned the lessons that cannabis has to offer, and they've incorporated cannabis into their lives. Oh my gosh. And the values of the counterculture are values that are desperately needed in the world today. Extending tolerance, more respect for nature, resolving disputes more peacefully, having respect for creativity instead of conformity. These are great values. Love over hate, peace over war. These are the values that the world desperately needs now. So no, I don't think that Cheech and Chong have anything to be ashamed of. And their humor was forged at a time of prohibition. And under prohibition, one of the things that happened is that we were surrounded by negative images. Everybody in the world was telling us that we were irresponsible, that we were lazy, that we were dirty, that our minds were rotten, that we were depraved. So we had to somehow be able to laugh at it. We had to somehow be willing to take all of this negativity and use humor to deflect it so we could keep going on. And so, yeah, some of the stuff that they did reflected stereotypes that aren't really true about cannabis consumers, right? But we are having those stereotypes laid on us so heavily that the only way that we could shake them off our back was by laughing. and Cheech and Chong gave us that. I never ever felt like Cheech and Chong were laughing at us. I always felt like they were laughing with us. I know people who say that we have to strip the counterculture values away from cannabis. So we need less love in the world today? We want less peace in the world today? We want less color and flavor and freedom and nature in the world today? I don't think so. Hippie culture, counterculture, it's here to stay.
Sweet. I'm glad
I
it is.
think so.
And then Tommy Chong did another article, and he got interviewed, and basically what he was saying is, and I'll post the article so you can read it. It's pretty long, but he just says this: well, compared to where we were, it doesn't matter anymore. I don't care what people think. In fact, what they found is that negativity publicity is more effective, and it's probably what happens when you mention anybody, especially Cheech and Chong, in the same breath as cannabis. It's a plus, no matter what you're saying. So that was just one caption of when he was getting interviewed. So we'll post that so everyone can read that. It'll be on our site. So, and now Mrs. Weeman's going to tell you a story.
Yeah, we're celebrating 420, right? I think I celebrated my first real 420 skunk bus,
2019
bar crawl. I decided I was
crawl.
just going to get higher than I've ever been, and I wanted to maintain it for as much of the day as I
Your
could.
one and only time
And
on the bus.
I think by stop 5, I couldn't even speak anymore. I had nothing left. So 420 goes back in history. Does it still matter? For decades, 420...
It better matter because it's my fucking name.
It will matter forever as long as it's your name then.
Yeah.
Say that.
For decades, 420 has been code for pot, as well as the counterculture's day of celebration. But have we outgrown this unofficial national holiday? In Mexico, native healers known as curanderos use cannabis in their practice to treat a variety of conditions. The shamans believed that there was a correlation between medicinal plants and divine spirits, a notion that didn't sit well with the Spanish church. Toward the end of the 17th century, the Catholic Church caught wind of this and banned cannabis, spreading rumors that people who used it were in communion with the devil and would go crazy, said Steve D'Angelo, one of the world's leading cannabis activists and founder of California's Harborside Healthcare. As a result of the church's anti-cannabis propaganda, Mexico's cannabis consumers were forced underground to hide their affinity for the plant. There, a new lexicon was born. By combining the Catholic-friendly word Mary with the Spanish word for things, Juana, one of the first code words for cannabis came into existence, marijuana. Literally, Mary's things. Became the secret way of identifying pot. If you were to talk about Mary, no one would suspect something bad, said D'Angelo. Fast forward to the mid-1960s. San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury, London's UFO Club, New York's Greenwich Village. These were areas of great momentum where centuries of conservatism were being provoked by a counterculture revolution. But by 1970, Nixon, like the Catholic Church before him, saw cannabis as a threat to his authority. He approved it as a Schedule I drug, a signal to law enforcement that pot was potentially more dangerous than opium, methamphetamine, and cocaine. We all know that's not true. For decades,
Wow.
yeah, right? For decades, 420 was the way to whisper one's approval of cannabis without letting the authorities know your actions. Only 420 had the added dimension of referring not just to all things cannabis, but cementing a continually recurring time and date, affording enthusiasts a specific time to meet up and potentially organize. But as more states fully legalize cannabis and many others offering some form of legalized weed, does this National Day of Organizing really matter anymore? In 1971, the same autumn that Thompson was mourning the counterculture, somewhere around harvest time, a group of San Rafael high school students, known as the Waldos, because they liked to congregate outside class against a wall, inherited a map. It allegedly led to a crop of abandoned cannabis plants near the Point Reyes Peninsula Coast Guard Station, just up the coast from San Francisco. The friends planned to meet after school at 4:20 p.m. to see if the map was real. For weeks, the Waldos gathered at 4:20 and hopped into a 66 Chevy Impala, nice car, smoking joints the whole way out. The Waldos never actually found the hidden treasure, yet the term 420 became embedded in their dialogue, referring to their favorite plant while teachers and parents were conveniently left in the dark. While the Waldos pioneered the term, their connections with the inner circle of Grateful Dead catapulted the propagation of 420 into our language. One Waldo's father helped the dead with real estate. Another Waldo brother was tight with Phil Lesh. And all of the Waldos had all access passes to the dead's rehearsals, shows, and after parties, where the term was put to good use during the 1970s and 80s. 420 jumped from this close-knit Bay Area Grateful Dead family to the Hemp Tour, and Hemp Tour immediately went to work spreading the idea that there was a holiday to be celebrated, making patches and posters referencing 420 to sell at all Dead shows, D'Angelo recalls. That's what really publicized this thing all across the country, and then all across the world. April 20th is the most significant day in the weed world, celebrating and bringing together people from all walks of life that have one common philosophy, burning of the herb and uplifting the mind, says Ganja Lab CEO Balram Vaswani, who's producing Jamaica's first legal harvest under the country's new medical marijuana law. Much like the curanderos of the 17th century, cannabis is being used across the world, once again to mitigate symptoms of disease, pain, and illness, while reconnecting users to the divine. And according to many advocates, it's still important to celebrate. 420 is positive because it's raised a lot of conversations and discussions about the plant, says Damian Marley, who recently announced a plan to convert a former 77,000 square foot California prison into a licensed medical marijuana grow facility. If anything, it's probably more relevant today than ever because of legalization. For many proponents of 420, legalization means much more than decriminalization, expungement, and restrictive medical marijuana programs. Activists believe cannabis legalization endgame comes in the form of uninhibited, unfettered access to the plant, affording people the opportunity to benefit without interference. A reason why home grow allowances have entered the debate
Free the plant.
across so many states.
Free the plant.
That's right. I could see April 20th becoming an official holiday worldwide as marijuana continues to decriminalize and legalize around the world, says Vaswani. Snoop Dogg, legendary rapper and cannabis trailblazer, agrees that 420 should stick around. This magical plant positively impacts all sorts of industries: health, tech, business, sports. 420 is one of my favorite days because the whole world comes together for a smoke in celebration of it. There's a great deal of activist work that still needs to get done. Prohibition is restrictive and divisive. 420 events bring everyone together, imbuing a sense of empowerment. When everyone stands together with a common goal, the collective consciousness swells to create change. Even in our activist work, even if it were complete, 420 morphs from a statement of conscience to a celebration of acceptance, a celebration of victory, a celebration of our amazing connection with this plant, says D'Angelo. I don't think that'll ever stop. I think it'll always be worthy of celebration.
That article came out last year on 420. Well, 419. So I did a lot of research for this because I wanted this to be a real special show because, you know, this year would be the first time everyone's really actually out being able to celebrate 420.
Yeah, man.
You know?
For real.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's like...
Illinois became legal and everything. Shut down, you know?
First rec 420.
Yeah. I mean,
shit.
smoking joints. I said when COVID started, one thing I missed the most was smoking joints with people I love and care for, and just anybody. I love smoking joints with people, and this is like the first real time we've like sat in the basement with people and smoked some J's. For sure, fucking great.
Dope.
You know, I mean, I know COVID's still around, didn't go anywhere, but you know what? I think just people just want to live. It sucks.
Indeed, man.
You know, they just want to live their life. And does 420 still matter? It'll always matter to me. It means a lot to me because I got to learn about it, you know, by working with it. You know, with the company I worked for a long time was 420 friendly. You know, I learned everything from that company. You know, I learned who the Waldos were because of that company. And I didn't even know the Waldos had a website until I just found it. 420waldos.com. It's fucking badass. Go to their fucking website and fucking truly, like, you can learn all about them, but then there's like history fucking in there. It's pretty, I thought it'd be like one page, and it's like pretty fucking deep. So past
is there a copy of their original map in there?
I don't know.
I wonder if people like pound the pavement and walk that trail if it's
for
known.
history part of it and for fun of it,
just
to be able
for
to
fun.
smoke a J.
Yeah, and go walk where the Waldos walked.
It'd be fucking great.
It'd be kind of cool.
But check it. They show pictures of the school. They show the pictures of the Waldos. They're on Wikipedia now. I mean, but this whole website is pretty fucking fantastic. So go on 420waldos.com. I mean, I've been drinking their beer too when it was made for a long time, but
I had some of this year's batch.
yeah. So I mean, always got to give props. So here's something I thought about when I was really stoned the last couple nights ago, and in my like 1 o'clock in the morning thought sesh. Well, do you think? I mean, after reading those articles and stuff like that, do you truly believe that 420 is here to stay forever because the cannabis community will keep it alive, and the stoners, burners, and potheads will keep it alive, and people like us who promoted our podcast out there in the world promoting 420, and journalists, and or is it going to be going more to the corporate cannabis will either kill it or they'll keep making money off of it?
I will say this: as we do the joint, we shall have to share 420. That's simple.
You gotta just
we're gonna have to share it.
Well,
it's
what if
gonna.
they don't want it? What if they don't want it?
And all of life, there is levels to this shit. So some people will be lightly, and some people will really get it.
Let me explain. So here's my reasoning why. Because we all know in the cannabis industry in the United States, a lot of the major companies will eventually sell when it goes federally legal. It's just it is. Who cares?
Let it go.
Been around
Get
a
your
long
billies.
time.
Yeah.
Right. Good.
I
Good
get
for
it.
you. That's what you want to do. But do you think somebody like an Amazon.com or a Mars chocolate candy or a fucking Constellation will want 420 in their
Well,
or you think they'll write it off and it'll still come back to us then to keep it alive?
So they will always have to tap in with the culture to move cannabis. You will not be able to move cannabis without the culture. At any point will you be able to move cannabis without the culture, because right now what's happening is the culture is educating. So we're training the next cannabis friendly person, not corporate. They don't speak that language, but they're gonna have to tap in with us.
I hope that's true.
It'd be a money thing too.
I think when you see,
we just gotta have our paperwork together. We should eat too.
When you're seeing at Walmart, when you see weed at Walmart,
I won't buy it.
Right.
I'm going to Nordstrom for mine. I want that high end. I'm in Saks for my shit. I'm going to Wally's.
Oh, fuck.
Whole Food at least.
Talk about this. I'm telling you,
or a bar at 25 Whole Foods.
Marshalls,
25, 30 years from now when I'm sitting fucking on my farm just growing my own shit and it's fucking in Walmart.
But we can't forget about the craft growers either, man. Like,
well,
that needs to be a real thing.
At the booze. All right, look at the booze industry when it comes to St. Patrick's Day. Some companies lean super hard into it, and you can buy green Bud Light or whatever they do. Everybody's Irish, and some companies it doesn't make sense for them to do that. Like Jose Cuervo isn't really leaning super hard into St. Patrick's Day, so as soon as corporations can get their hands on it and they're gonna run it through a spreadsheet and figure out
100%. Events, man, they're going crazy on marketing.
But I even think that as it moves down that line, the culture will get it back. You know what I mean? Like, then it'll be back to being ours, and it won't be about... Maybe it'll be about, like, hey, we can stock up. That's great. It'll be our Black Friday,
Say that.
That's what we're at the Walmart beating the shit out of each other for the name.
Yo! They got the ounces!
I get the Bubba Kush.
$80 ounces.
If you're here for marijuana, please move to the left line.
Listen, you're gonna see one day. What will kill me though? One day you go to Home Depot and you'll see fucking clones that you can buy at Home Depot.
Like in the garden center.
I don't know how to feel about that, man.
Yo, so like,
that's what I'm saying. Your kids might not ever
grower.
know what a plug is. What a fucking traditional market
is. It'd
is.
be like telling us tomatoes used to be illegal.
So, but like, I mean, that's the same. Hey, but that's the same as liquor, though. Like, there's a generation like you guys. You know, there's people that I know that work in liquor that have done that before, and like. That was like, oh man, you were shooting them up to get your hooch from point A to point B. Now it's like, man, people would rather you drink liquor than smoke marijuana.
Yeah, that's so weird. That's so weird.
Hey, go get drunk. Kill your liver.
Yeah.
Go eat some sugar.
Start a fight.
You know?
Right.
I like sugar.
I said I
but-
want to do like a case study and have like the same group of people over, set the same atmosphere. So same music's playing, same lighting, same kind of vibe, right? And serve drinks, high and heavy. Drink. Just get shit faced and see what happens, right? Maybe a dozen people. There's gonna be some arguing at some point. Someone's gonna be sloppy. Someone's gonna puke, right? Now bring them people back like a week later. Replay the whole scenario.
Got it.
No alcohol, just weed, and like see the difference in the right.
Oh,
It's like
man,
night and
listen.
day. But people don't understand that. There's so many people that don't understand like the amazing difference between the two.
I agree.
Yeah, and it's in a fear. It's in a fear place.
Yeah.
So, I don't mind it moving a little bit down the line into mainstream if it helps to grab some of those people.
Also, it'll help with federal legalization too, and all
Yeah.
that shit too. I get all that, and the stigma will probably start ending. I've seen this game so many times before with corporations,
Yo.
and it still today drives me crazy because I'm not a corporate guy.
Look,
I'm a mom and pop shop guy.
I just do not want to ever see a company like Pfizer or Moderna or Johnson
already in
and
the
Johnson.
game.
I don't want to see
They're
any
already
of
in the
their
game.
products, man.
They're already in the
I don't
game.
want to see. I don't want to see cigarette weed. I don't want to see any of
They're
that.
already in the game.
Man, forget
You're gonna
those
see it.
fools, man.
That's the part I'm trying to say. You're gonna see it all.
But look,
Once it
you know
goes
what?
federally
Hey,
legal,
if somebody wants
it's over.
that stuff, they can have it. I'm not gonna call
Right.
it trash, but if you want
There
that,
is actually a anti-nausea medication that is synthetic THC, not CBD, that you can get from your pharmacy.
word.
Yeah, just found that out. Dronabinol.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Makes it sound just the
Yeah.
most boring thing.
I know,
ever.
right?
Hey, listen.
Dronabinol.
It sound, I was like, oh, that sounds painful. Nothing you're saying sounds out of line. I'm just like, that sounds painful.
I didn't know there was.
It's
those.
what the synthetic?
Next time somebody
Synthetic?
sells me a STEMI eighth, I'm gonna be like, this is some fucking dramatic.
Yeah.
That sounds serious. Super serious.
Where'd you get the CVS? Shit.
Fucker got dronabinol.
Mr. G
Yes,
is
sir.
gonna sing us a song. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready for
Yes,
it?
sir.
Well, Mr. G's getting his guitar tuned up. Metro, you got anything else to say, yo?
Man, this was a great experience. I'm glad you guys let me come through. I'm about to see Mr. G get down on his guitar and sing for us, and I really appreciated this conversation, man. This was a good feast of the gods, as I would call it. Yeah, you guys fed me. I hope I gave something to the convo as well.
You gave a lot to the combo. It was great. This song here, Mr. G was on his computer, and I was looking at him on a screen instead of being live in the basement sesh, and he's doing it live right here in front of us. You all know the song Vipers. All you out there better be hissing when you're hitting that big fat doink. Mr. G, whenever you're ready, Viper, my brother.
Alrighty. Yeah, this is an old reefer jazz tune made probably most popular by Fats Waller back in the day. It's not necessarily 100% in my wheelhouse, so please forgive any mistakes in advance. Ooh, let me hit that before we get going.
That's what I'm talking about.
Pass that around.
Puff, puff, pass, as Mrs. Weeman always
Yeah.
says.
Yeah.
Yep. Now we're
And
ready.
as Mr. Weebat, I believe, has probably told you, listeners, the reason that this particular piece of slang exists about being a viper when you smoke weed is because when you hit a joint, you hiss. So this is how the 1930s treated that information. Dreamed about a reefer about 5 feet long, mighty wide, not too strong. You'll be high, oh, but not for long. If you're a viper, say I'm the king of everything. Got to get high before I can swing. The bells ring, oh, ding-a-ring-a-ling, 'cause I'm a viper. Well, you know you're high when your throat gets dry. Never peppermint candy hall. Well, then you know your little body's spent. You don't give a damn if you don't pay rent. The sky's high and so am I. 'Cause I'm a viper wild. Know you're high when your throat gets dry and everything is dandy. So you bust on down to the corner store and you spend all your money on Fuego Takis. Yeah, you know your little body's spent. Don't give a damn if you pay your rent. The sky's high and so am I. 'Cause I'm a viper. I said, yeah, I'm the king of everything. Got to get high before I swing. Hear them bells? Well, they ring, dang, ding. I'm improvising this part.
That's the weed.
'Cause you're a viper. Oh, yeah, you're a viper. Hey man, pass that thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
That was fantastic.
That's a fun one.
Mr. G.
Please look up Mr. Fats Waller singing that one to watch one of the original masters of cannabis culture and music.
Thank you, Mr. G. And if you want to see Mr. G sing this live, come to Blue Island Brewery Sunday, April 24th from 3 to 6 p.m. 8 Decades launch party. You'll get to meet Mr. and Mrs. Weedman. Metro Blac might even stop by and say hey and smoke a big
I
fatty
might do
joint.
that. I might do that.
You should do that.
Mr.
I
G with Grit and the Double Knit, and you might be able to hear Viper live.
We're going to do it. We
Hell
wrapped it
yeah.
up.
Hell yeah. Oh,
It's
man.
up.
Oh, man. Man, fellas and lady, this was a fucking great 420 episode.
Super awesome time.
I tell you what, I want to do this every year.
I'm
Gotta
down.
come back.
I'm down.
Gotta come back.
Let's do it.
I hear it. That was the first time I've heard Yuki. It's the perfect time.
The perfect
Yeah.
time. Yeah, she gave us an hour.
Yelping.
She gave us an hour. She's
Come
still
and
not
get
ready to
me.
sit here quiet.
Enough's
Boy,
enough.
Boy, did she grow, right? She grew. We've had her for 3 weeks, and boy, she grew 2 inches, 3
Something
inches.
like that.
Oh,
It's a
my
beautiful
goodness.
pup, though,
Whole
man.
new
Beautiful.
dog. She ain't a
Yeah.
puppy. Metro Blac, please
Yes.
tell everybody where they can find you, listen to you,
You,
hook up
you
with
can
you.
find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at the THE Metro METRO Black BLAC no K. You can stream my music on Spotify, Apple, Tidal, Weezer, anywhere that charges you to spin music. You can find Metro Black no K.
You have any upcoming shows or anything promotions? You got doing?
I do have an infused tea party coming up May 29th. So I'm doing this series of events called Brunch with Metro. So stay tuned to my social media. You'll see where we're popping up and what we're doing. I let people pick my next single at my last brunch, and at this brunch we're gonna make it about the ladies and talking about health and just infused teas. And my wife has her own line of teas, so we'll be highlighting her blends at the event.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I drink cold brew tea. I make it myself. I gotta get some.
Whatever you need, like she's all about it. Yeah,
All right. I
yeah.
like it. I'll
Sweet.
plug it. I'll give it a plug.
Yeah.
All right,
For
for
around
sure,
the
for
world.
sure. Steep
Hell yeah.
leaf, yeah,
Cool.
Steep Leaf?
Yeah.
I like the name too.
yeah.
Mr. G?
Yeah, you can find the particular bands, Grit and the Double Knit, at that on Instagram, Facebook, all that for socials. Also, that band streams on all of the same platforms that Mr. Metro mentioned. If you like putting a little scoot in your boot, the Lawrence Peters outfit is also that's a old school honky tonk band that I play in here in Chicago, which is actually a really vibrant scene here, a really fun old school vintage country scene.
And you guys have a regular gig, right?
We do. We play out at Fitzgerald's in Berwyn every Sunday for brunch from 1:30 to 3 p.m. Not every Sunday. I'm sorry, every first Sunday. And that's 1 to 3 p.m. for brunch. Otherwise, the schedules are posted. Well, you find the schedules on the socials for either of those bands. You can find recordings on any of the major platforms.
Hell yeah. Miss Wee Man, fuck, great show.
Yeah, it was fun.
Got anything else to say?
I'm going to wrap it up with a plug. I got a business. It's called 8 Decades.
What?
Check it
Hey, that's good.
8decades.com.
Launching on
I can't reach your hand.
420.
There we go.
Women-owned business right there. Gotta
Let's
love
go.
it. Starting it from the ground up. They were
up.
nothing. And now we got
Dirt.
something.
And we've gotten a little sneak peek. And world, you're in for your treat.
Yeah.
Real treat. It's
Come-
coming out here.
Come hang out at our launch party. It's going to be fun. Blue Island Brewery, April 24th, 3 to 6. You get to see these guys hang out with us. Going to be a lot of weed, a lot of fun, some food, some beer. Really good beer. Really good beer.
Great vibes. I'm already certain. You know.
Gonna be a
You
lot
know
of
what
fun.
it is. Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
We still have a handful. I think we've got like,
Come on.
yeah. Okay.
Fuck
Mr.
it.
Weedman said
Come on,
just
come
show
on.
up.
Yeah,
Just show up.
Pull up
Big enough.
on
Room
me.
for everybody.
That's it.
Pull up on me.
Make it a good problem for Al to have over there.
That's it. Mr. G, thank you again for another great year.
Yes, sir.
Metro,
Man, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mrs.
Fun.
Weedman,
Yep.
love you, hon.
Love you.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, everyone out in the world, we love you out there. Happy 420 to all of you. This is your day. Burners, stoners, and potheads, never let it die. Your day. To all you out there, I love you around the world. To all you peeps out there in the world, I love you. Keep on hitting us back on all of our social media. Also, you can find everything you want to find now on 8decades.com. Social media handles, all that. I don't even have to fucking say that shit anymore. All I got to do is say 8decades.com. You find everything you want to find.
Spelled out. EIGHT. Go ahead.
No? Finish it.
Oh.
Finish it.
EIGHTDECADES.com.
I don't get paid to spell. I get
Ooh, I'm
paid
gonna
to
write a
sell.
jingle.
Eight.
We're
Yeah.
gonna write a jingle.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
All
Let's
right.
go.
We love you all out there in the world. As Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff puffing away.
Puff, puff, pass.